We're on Pure Sports. We're back. We got some baseball here. We'll get you a good hour of content with an 11-game slate on DraftKings. We'll get some FanDuel plays as well. Joined by a wonderful panel today. Title Town, who I don't get to work with enough anymore. And especially, we killed our pod here in the NFL. It's just devastating. Not really. And then we got DC, obviously, who's been hanging out. Title, how'd the NFL streets go for you yesterday?
Oh, yeah. Free Money Sunday lived up to the name. It was beautiful.
Days.
2 days.
Yeah.
Yes, yesterday was good as well. I couldn't ask for a better week one. Even like I said, even when football goes bad, it's still football on the screen, so you can remind yourself and you still have a smile. It's nice to have the season back, but always nice to have a little extra money in your pocket. Went well.
How was it watching Aaron Rodgers in week one again?
Yeah, that was not very good, but I had Justin Jefferson on my team, so it was fun to watch that game as well.
He just gets open, man. He had like 2 huge catches. Nobody's within a 10-yard radius.
Yeah, fascinating. That's a stud right there.
DC, what's going on, man? Your football, was there any baseball on Sunday, or was it all football?
No baseball on Sundays for me. Once we get to NFL season, happy to have the day break. And yeah, I'm just full in on football mode on Sundays. It was a good week one. I'm a title, made some good money. Core picks were good, all that good stuff. So excited to get to week 2 and a good week of baseball coming up here too. Pennant races down the stretch, all that fun stuff. So yeah, let's get to it.
Shout out to Hoop, who got me on Mahomes and a certain lineup construction. That was awesome. Unfortunately, Elijah Mitchell ends up getting hurt in the second quarter. That doesn't happen. Could have been a really good weekend, but week one, our content in the NFL. Listen, I'm even winning. Okay. So you got, it's true. I'm not lying to you. So anyways, I can say this. It works. Core plays. You get all our guys up there. Title and DC have it. Big T gives you his whole player pool. If you haven't signed up for NFL, you missed a pretty damn good week one, and I would not want to miss week 2. So $100 is the basic plan. You're going to get the Coors. You're going to get the playbooks. You're going to get the Discord. You're going to get everything that you want, for $100. So hop on in right now, runpuresports.com. DC, let's just get an overview of the baseball slate here. With 11 games tonight. When we talk about pitching, we'll start with DeGrom. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the top end of pitching just loaded. Obviously, DeGrom, best pitcher in baseball, back healthy, and when he's healthy, yeah, he's borderline untouchable. He gets the Cubs here at home. Cubs have a team total almost under 2, which you just never ever see. The strikeouts are going to be there. What more can you say about DeGrom? He's honestly kind of just way better than any other pitcher. It's like there's like a bigger difference between whoever number 2 is and whoever number 20 is than there is between number 1 and number 2. So you'll see that reflected in ownership. But DeGrom's priced high enough, $12K on FanDuel, 11.8 on DraftKings. You'll see people go elsewhere for the savings. I'm personally going to try to squeeze DeGrom in there in as many lineups as possible. Beyond that, I think it gets pretty close between Cole, Darvish, Kershaw, Kyle Wright. I think you could make the case for all 4 guys. I'm actually leaning slightly Kyle Wright here, who disappointed us in a big way last start out, -5 against the Oakland A's, but I expect him to bounce back. You do get nice savings on him going down to 9,400. And then I think there's a pretty big teardrop after him, but still some more guys that are cheaper that I am interested in. So yeah, good slate of pitching, and yeah, squeeze into DeGrom if you can, I think is the number one piece of advice. Nothing revolutionary there, but it is probably the way to go.
All right. So we'll see that in the course tonight. Title, just an overview of the slate. How about offensively? Anybody standing out to you right now?
Well, we got to start with DeGrom because he's it's so easy. Figure out one other pitcher on DraftKings. He will be in all the lineups. But with that being said, that's why I had to start there is you can't play all the top offenses on the slate or stack 1 through 5, especially because cheap pitching, I don't necessarily love. I think there are some options. But it's DeGrom anchoring your lineups. If you can get like DeGrom Cole, that obviously be my favorite pairing. But then you have to sacrifice some bats. So I think there's Cole, if I'm going to the top range, some mid-range options, some cheaper options, and then figure out offense there. So we'll go game by game, no offense staring me in the face because got to see what I have money for when DeGrom's in my lineups.
All right. Like button would be great. Get that up there. We got a lot of grinders with us. You guys have been here all season long for the most part. Maybe you just found us. We've been playing baseball since day one, even spring training, and we'll be going right through the playoffs. Like button if you can. Let's see some of these dudes. What up, Mike Jr.? Of course, Rolo's in here. We got GQ, Natus5, my Matty Ice, all you guys. Thank you for showing up again today. We love it. We really appreciate it. Mardon Yeezy, Mike, what up, boys? Let's get going here. So you don't need to explain DeGrom then, DC. You want to explain the other guys that we want to stick in here tonight that we want to pair with DeGrom?
Yeah, I mean, with DeGrom, we could talk baseball, nerdy baseball stats all show long if we wanted to, but just suffice it to say, trust me, he is by far the best pitcher in baseball. It's not close. And I think it's worth eating that ownership for him. I think, the other guys all have some question marks. Like Cole just hasn't been quite as good down the stretch. He's got to go into Fenway Park. It's a little bit of a low strikeout rate. So I've got everyone else at the upper tier, well below DeGrom, even more so than I think the price reflects, the ownership reflects. So he is the number one. If you're going away from DeGrom today, I almost think you got to go find a way cheaper pitcher, right? Because if you're trying to play two studs with DeGrom, it's just too hard to overcome what we think DeGrom is going to do against the Chicago Cubs. So you got to give yourself access to a completely different team, right? If you go with a super cheap pitcher, you can get access to all kinds of bats that people with DeGrom just simply can't get to. So I think that's the path if you want to fade DeGrom, which I'm not recommending, but if you are going that way, I'm considering it on FanDuel, at least on some teams. But beyond that, I do think there's a few more guys that I'm interested in the mid-range, and then one cheap guy. So the two guys in the mid-range, Jordan Montgomery, we've been on him ever since that trade to St. Louis, and he's been really, really good outside of that start with the Braves. He gets Yadier Molina back behind the plate, catching him. He's at home, which we like. And he gets a Brewers team, which is striking out at a huge rate over the last 30 days, a big rate against lefties. Montgomery, 8,400. I expect 20 fantasy points out of him, frankly, and I think a good shot at a win. So he's a fun play. And then Joe Ryan at home against the Kansas City Royals, another fun team to pick on. Ryan has had a pretty tough schedule recently, but a good pitcher overall, a guy that can rack up strikeouts. He's 8,100 on DraftKings. And then the last two more guys I'll talk about. Michael Kopech has a lot of talent kind of all over the place in terms of the results, but home matchup against the Rockies, who are just terrible on the road. They're worse against right-handed pitching, and Kopech's velocity was back in his last start. I think he's got some upside, not safe at all. Okay, you just never know what to expect from him, but upside at 7,100. And then I do like the A's rookie Ken Waldichuk, I think is how it's pronounced. He's looked pretty good to me in these two starts. His last start was one of those. We tried the old stolen base, same game parlay. Didn't work against the Braves, but I watched both of his two starts and was pretty impressed. Throwing a lot of strikes, big strikeout rate in the minor leagues, and he gets a pretty good matchup in Texas. Not a great matchup, but a decent one. I think we'll get him very low owned. I think he's got some decent strikeout upside as well. So he's another one that I'm looking at. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Looking to spend. And then I do like Montgomery, Ryan in the mid-range. And my favorite cheap guy by far is Ken Waldichuk of the Oakland A's. I think he's got a shot to get you, 5, 6, 7 strikeouts. Maybe he gets you through 5 or 6 innings. It's not going to be probably a gem from him, but he is cheap enough. 6,200 on DK, 7,600 on FanDuel. Cheap enough where I think it's worth rolling the dice. Maybe you pair him with DeGrom and free up some of that salary for more bats.
Any Spencer Watkins tonight title? Where are you going? Give me the playbook here.
Yeah, well, isn't it Dean Kramer?
Dean Kramer, I meant. Sorry,
I can see mixing those two up. They're
white with long hair. They're white, and they both play for the Orioles.
Righties,
yeah. Dean Kramer.
Yeah. So my pitching pool is just like DC's, except no Kopech, and Dean Kramer is the pivot right in that range.
Cool.
And so, it's Washington, so I like to pick on. So DeGrom is going to be anchored all my lineups. My favorite second, if I was able to spend up for anyone else, it would be Garrett Cole for sure. If you can get DeGrom and Garrett Cole and find a lineup you're comfortable with bats, sure. I will never say no to that. I think they're the two best pitchers on this slate. If you can't get to Garrett Cole, going to skip that top range. And then it's Jordan Montgomery and Joe Ryan at 8-4 and 8-1. Montgomery gets his Brewers team, has been awful against lefties, tons of strikeouts there. Think he makes a lot of sense. Joe Ryan at 8-1 against Kansas City, pitching at home. He has a good strikeout prop, 5.5, some juice on the over as well. And then if I drop down, like I said, Dean Kramer right there. just not scared of this Washington team at all. I think Baltimore bats are pretty interesting today, so I'm expecting the win from him. He gets out there and gets me 16 on this slate with pairing with DeGrom. Like, I'm totally fine with that. So him at 7-3. And then I'm glad DC mentioned the cheapie that I was going to mention, the Ken Waldichuk guy, because, man, if you're playing DeGrom in all the lineups and you want to spend up for bats, you do have to punt or find a cheaper option at pitching. You look at a strikeout prop, 4.5, a little juice on the over, not very scared of this Texas team, making his third major league start. So at least we know that if he is pitching well, like his pitch count's not going to be 50 or 60 or something. DC liking him makes me even happier. So I think you go to DeGrom, anchor in all your lineups. At least that's what I'm doing. If you can get Cole, perfect. Otherwise, you get the Montgomery, Joe Ryan in the mid-tier range, Kramer at 7-3, Ken Waldichuk at 6-2. And yeah, that's how you make an 11-game slate more condensed at pitching.
DC, we've done a lot of shows, baseball with Tony, right? I mean, it's looking like Urias, Stowers, Mateo. You could go to the bottom of these orders. And if you are going to go that route of pitching up or paying up a pitcher, then it's DeGrom and Cole, right? So there's going to be bottom of the orders that you can get to. So there are ways definitely to build it.
Absolutely. You can play Cole and DeGrom on the slate if you want to do so. There's enough 2K bats. I mean, every position has, it looks like a 1 or 2 or sometimes even more 2K bats. Some of these guys are actually pretty good. We've talked about it before. DK is kind of seems like giving up on salaries, especially for the cheaper guys a little bit. So you can definitely get values. If I liked Cole more, I think I would be willing to do it, but I'm just a little bit nervous about the matchup. He just hasn't been that great. I think Boston might give him some trouble here. And I do like Ken Waldichuk quite a bit. The more I kind of think about it, and just watching him against the Braves, like the Braves put up a really, really good battle in that game, following everything off. But he looked good, man. He was 95, 96, hitting the zone, getting ahead of hitters.
Michael in chat said too, no Seager in that lineup, huge bump.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that. So not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure my core will be DeGrom, Waldichuk combination. Get that extra savings. Like I said, you don't have to have it, but it certainly helps to get some of the bigger bats and then fill in. And I talk about this often, but one of the problems with going with like DeGrom and Cole is you are pigeonholed into, a similar lineup that a lot of people I think are going to make. Yes, there are a lot of 2K bats to play, but you want the best ones, and so is everybody else. So unless you're going to go to like the true shitters down there, you're going to kind of end up with a similar team, I think, to some people. So I do prefer the DeGrom and then going cheap at Waldichuk punt. Again, not a safe play, but I think he's got a pretty good shot at 15 plus fantasy points. I'll take that on this slate at 6,200.
What up, Pilali? Manoa, got another question about Manoa. Cole sucks in Boston from David Crudy. We're going by the numbers here, Title. I mean, you go by the numbers, you pick it out. I don't like Cole either, to be perfectly honest with you.
The ownership, I think, he's coming off a 40 piece, and the ownership on Cole is going to be lower than you almost always see because DeGrom's right there. Everyone's going to pay. So, like, the pivot game there, and it's Garrett Cole at the end of the day. That's why I definitely have more interest than you guys. But, I mean, like I said, if I'm anchoring my lineups with DeGrom and you go Cole, I don't think that's going to be too popular of a pairing. Yeah. People are going to do it, though. And, yeah, I mean, you got to find some cheap offenses, and I like stacking. So it's not like I can just pick off all these cheap bats. So it's tough to do. I haven't built lineups yet. I do have a core on the site today. More than likely, it's probably not DeGrom and Cole, but if I'm making like 20 teams, I definitely will personally try and get some those two pairing. But like Manoa, I see people talking about like Logan Gilbert. Yeah, I mean, I can like Logan Gilbert. I think he's totally fine on this slate. Good strikeout prop as well, right in that same range of Joe Ryan and Montgomery. You should be higher owned. But I already mentioned 5 pitchers on this slate. Like most people watching this are only playing 1 lineup, 2 lineups, 3 lineups. Like you just can't play everyone on the slate. You like Manoa? Sure. He's in that same range there. But because I'm anchoring my lineups with DeGrom, gave 4 other guys in different price ranges, you just can't play everyone. So yeah, if you like Manoa, Gilbert, I'm not going to talk you out of him. Maybe DC doesn't like him, but that's my thoughts.
Yeah. It's just for me, tonight it's got to be Kramer and DeGrom, and you got no problem with that Title. And
yeah,
DC kind of on the same path here.
Kramer's the next guy behind me. I just have Kopech slightly ahead, so he would have been one that I mentioned. I do prefer Waldichuk over both guys, though, especially with the savings. So
Waldichuk.
People are asking about weather in Boston. because that is the one. I mean, I don't know. I'm not the weather guy at DC or something. I mean, it would be mainly like don't play Cole because of a possible delay. I don't see any postponement or any stuff like that. But
I'll look it up here, but it doesn't look bad to me.
Yeah, I thought
I don't see anything.
Yeah.
Cool. Someone asked.
No, the only game we got is what we got. The wind is blowing out in that Cubs Mets game. So maybe I think it's like 12 miles an hour. I think it's a little bump to the bats. You look at that.
Everyone go stack their Chicago against DeGrom. That wind's going to help you get a couple balls over the fence.
What about the other side?
Yeah, I mean, the problem is when you're anchoring your lineups with DeGrom and stuff, I mean, Lindor 6K, Alonso 5.5. The bottom of the order is a little cheaper.
What kind of wins would have to be out there, Title, for you to be stacking against DeGrom?
350.
Yeah, you can't hit. It doesn't help you if you can't hit it.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said
some amount of win where they wouldn't play the game.
Yeah, exactly. When the players are starting to blow over, yeah, that's when.
Seriously, I think a constant 40-mile-an-hour wind out to left field.
I still wouldn't.
40 miles an hour, all you gotta do is pop it up and it goes out.
I mean, I guess I don't know how that would affect DeGrom's actual the balls getting to the plate. So
but he might throw 130.
Yeah.
He'd have the wind behind.
I would probably stack against him for 40-mile-per-hour winds.
You would not stack against him for 40
I would.
miles.
He said he probably would. I would trust Vegas on that and see what total they gave him.
Seriously, if you have a 40-mile-an-hour wind, well, it'd be blowing the other way. He'd probably be throwing in the 80s too.
Well, yeah, no, it would not. If it was going with him, then
if it was going with him, I want to see the dude throw 130 with a 40-mile-an-hour wind.
No, I don't know.
All right, enough of this blabbery. Let me tell you about our members because they never win. I don't know where that came. Oh, I know where it came from. Somebody on Twitter is like, "Hey, you guys never win." Well, guess what? They do. Members at our chat will tell you they win. And here we go. I'm going to give you a list. We had a little NFL shipper, Solo Viola with a 27K hit. Stevens Vox, 20K in tennis. Very successful tennis season. Way to go, Susie and Maddie and Spread and JJ and all you guys. You did an awesome job. DCats 15, 27K in MLB. Mac 2 Services, 52K in MLB. We're still just killing it in baseball, folks. JJ hit for 33K in college football. Of course, Simo with the live final, 25K. And our guy, Big T, the best in the world, 495K hit.
I'm gonna add someone called Draft Cheat Soccer just won 10K and the 333 on.
Hey,
so there we go.
Nice stuff.
Just locked 1 minute ago. I had to mention myself. I don't get to be on the members never win segment very often, so I got to toot my own horn.
You got to post them in Discord.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
That's awesome. Congrats.
See, look, it's wonderful.
You follow a lot of soccer, DC? Are you in the streets more than the people know?
Yeah, get in there once in a while, mostly when I can fully stack Liverpool, my favorite team, which I did today. Played 7 Liverpool guys and got there. So there you go.
There you go. Good stuff.
So anyways, great time to sign up. RunPureSports.com. Head to the site. $100 basic plan. Get you the Coors, the playbook. You'll know who titles playing on a nightly basis. You'll get the cast chart. You play GPPs, you'll get the full player pool from Tony. DC, you got a whole pool, don't you? You share your pool.
For football?
No, for baseball.
Yeah, I feel like you should know that by now. This has got to be like our 150th baseball show that we've done together, but absolutely. Yeah.
Well, between the not listening and the not actually scrolling down,
yeah,
you can understand
where
we are this late in the season. And it's really an indictment on me.
Yeah.
There's no question.
Right.
Like button would be great. And it's time to get into the offenses. You know what, Title? I'm going to go to you first here. This Baltimore-Washington game. Give me your thoughts. O's, Nationals. We're not messing with the Nationals. Can you make a case for some O's bats?
Yeah, I mean, I like the O's. I don't think Corey Abbott's any good personally on the road, so they're guaranteed the 9th inning at bat.
A bullpen game, too.
Yeah, that's a bad bullpen behind him. I mean, everything sets up for these O's personally. Guaranteed 9th inning at bat. In Washington, what I like, they are a little – so this is where it's interesting. Like, I'm playing DeGrom for sure. Like, if I'm going DeGrom Cole – obviously, you can't play Cedric Mullins, Adley, Anthony Santander, but they do have some cheap bats. Gunnar Henderson in the 5-hole, 3.4K, can fill him out at second or shortstop. Ramon Urias, 3.2K, get a full punt in the outfield. Kyle Stowers, Austin Hayes down there. I always don't mind Jorge Mateo. He can get on. He can swipe a bag. He's got upside there. I think this Baltimore lineup's in play 1 through 9. I prefer the lefties. And if you're going Dean Kramer and DeGrom, then you can play Cedric Mullins, Adley, Santander. I think this lineup's in play 1 through 9, and they're one of my favorite stacks on this slate.
Do you like the lefties?
Yeah, I prefer the lefties, but I'm good with filling out with the right, like an Austin Hayes down there at 3-1 or Mateo down there at a shortstop position to fill out. I'm good with 1 through 9, but I prefer the lefties.
Hey, DC, what do you want to do with the O's tonight?
Yeah, I'm in. This is my number one stack tonight. Corey Abbott, just brutal against left-handed bats. He's bad anyway, but really especially bad against lefties. You got a terrible bullpen that is full of right-handed pitchers coming in after him. Pretty good hitting weather in Washington, and I'm with Title. It's a 1 through 9 type of stack. It's definitely the lefties that I prefer, specifically that top 3, Mullins, Rushman, Santander. You can, if you want, even cut it off there and go with like a 5-man stack somewhere else. If you're on DraftKings, you were playing a 5-3, but this team's full of value too, right? Those are the 3 big bats. They're expensive, but yeah, Gunnar Henderson, their star rookie. He's going to be awesome fantasy wise. Kyle Stowers, another prospect. He's minimum price hitting 7th. Hasn't done a lot yet for the Orioles, but good power in the minor leagues. And yeah, certainly Mountcastle, Urias, Hayes, Mateo, those guys are all decent plays too. So give me the 5 lefties first, but I might end up stacking the Orioles multiple ways tonight. I think they're going to do some damage against Corey Abbott. There's not actually that many great offenses to go to tonight, honestly. The Orioles are number 1 for me, and expecting some damage here. So very, very big on the Orioles side of this one.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through the lineup right now. So Rutschman, Henderson, Mullins, Santander. And if you're going to need to get cheap, then is Stowers really an option? But that to me is the one guy that kind of scares me in this lineup.
I mean, you can always cash with a 0, and then DC says, yeah, Stowers he has some hope for him, and he's a lefty. So
it's a good play.
All of that signs me up.
Well, look, you throw the lefties in there, and you put our Kramer and DeGrom in their Title, and you still got 3.3K left for first, third, and shortstop.
Yeah,
it's a good way to go.
Yesterday, DC and I were all over the Astros. I mean, and for what the slate did, they did fine. Pena, definitely great call for DC there, but we like the O's today, so I'm glad to be holding hands with DC.
Well, good. I want to know what you guys are doing on mini stacks. So that's
I can say that.
We'll wait. We got 10 more games. We'll find a mini stack or 2 that we can throw with Baltimore together. But DC, let's go. We don't have lineups for Tampa Bay, Toronto tonight. Chirinos and Manoah. Do we need to go here?
I'm not playing Manoah at that price point on this slate. So I'm not going to these pitchers. The lineups are interesting. I mean, you could go to the lefties for the Rays. I don't mind doing that against Manoah. They're never owned, and I think they're in a better spot against Manoah than people realize. So I don't mind that for like contrarian one-offs. Blue Jays, do we have confirmed they're starting Fleming? Is that right? It's always second game of a doubleheader. I thought
it was like Chirinos.
It was Chirinos.
Yeah. I mean, Chirino's been pitching in the minor leagues all year, so I think the Jays could be a good one to go. You can be pretty sure what they're going to roll out there. But yeah, I definitely have the Jays behind the Orioles. But yeah, they've got to be a top 3 or 4 stack tonight, I think.
Title, anything from this game?
Yeah, I like the Blue Jays because we don't think Waldichuk's going to be too popular. Like, just because you guys watch one show and 2 people like him, I don't think that's going to reflect ownership wise. So if you go that, I mean, you need to play a cheap pitcher if you are playing DeGrom, if you're fading DeGrom and going cheaper. But these Blue Jays are so expensive, and this game's not on FanDuel. It's just on DK. Some people play both sites. They don't have the lineup out yet. Like, all this stuff, I think has the Blue Jays coming in a lot lower owned than people think. Don't think this Chirinos dude is very good. Not too worried about the bullpen. And I mean, like DC said, this is not a great hitting slate. Toronto's one of the best offenses in the league at low ownership. You play Ken, you play DeGrom, you have money to spend. I think the Blue Jays make a lot of sense on this slate. So, like, it's not, if you don't have any Blue Jays in your lineup, I wouldn't be worried. But if you have the salary for them with their projected ownership with this lineup, I really do like the Blue Jays today if you can fit them. So, I mean, we just got 2 of my favorite stacks on the slate to start it off. So,
all right, good. So the rest of the show is just going to be a lot of nada, huh? So what you're saying, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these games, I'm going to say not too much interest.
Hey, you know what, guys? DC talked to me. I wanted to ask you this earlier today. So any call-ups recently that are just sitting there like dirt cheap, 2K, 2-4? Nobody knows about them. They've never heard their names. Anybody that you're going to here? Sorry, I know it's a free show. I don't want to give too much away, but
yeah, there's some. I mean, Kyle Stowers is one of them.
There you go.
He's certainly on the list. Actually, I think
this Tristan Cassis dude.
Yeah, that was the next guy I was going to name. I think he's a really, really strong leverage play against Garrett Cole, who does give up a lot of home runs. When we see him struggle, that Twins game when he gave up like 4 home runs in the first inning, he does give them up because he challenges people with the fastball. That's perfect for Casas, who's got big power from the left side. So yeah, he would be another. And then there's some other guys like Nick Gordon, JK for the Twins, whose prices don't move. They're sitting pretty cheap. I can point out the others kind of as we go through, but Casas and Kyle Stowers certainly on the short list for me.
All right, very good. Let's get into the next game, Yankees-Boston. Then you just talked about Casas. So what about the Red Sox? You can always – he gives up a home run or two. It seems like every single game Cole does. I don't know if you think it's going to happen tonight, but any Red Sox bats you want to pick, and is it pretty easy with the Yankees?
Yeah, I mean, the Yankees, we know what to do there. Obviously, yep. Aaron Judge, every time you can fit him. He's one of the guys like on FanDuel. I'm looking at maybe pitching Waldachuk, who is cheap, and then just getting bats that nobody can get to. Aaron Judge would be one of them, right? Anybody playing Jacob deGrom is not playing Aaron Judge. Like you just can't get the two guys. So you maybe get the 2 home runs. I can see a path to the top, a really low owned path to the top that way. Obviously you would need a lot to go right. I think you can stack the Yankees, but man, I kind of just like to take Judge and just move on from that team, to be honest. But the Yankees, I do think, are in play. The Red Sox, though, are interesting. Trying to pull up the BVP here. I believe Rafael Devers, owns Garrett Cole.
Yeah, he does. Every time these people at Discord say it all the time.
Cole has talked about it. He just can't do anything. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the numbers here. An OPS of like 1,300, 6 home runs and 33 career plate appearances for Rafael Devers. Yeah, I mean, I'll take the shot on that. Despite those numbers, he will be low owned, but he obviously sees them perfectly well. I mean, Cole himself has admitted it, so I'm in on him. And then, Tristan Casas, the 2 guys. I'm not stacking the Red Sox, but I'm definitely willing to play those 2 guys 100%. So Devers, Casas for me, and then from the Yankees side, I do think a full stack is reasonable against Pivetta, who does get absolutely torched fairly often, but Judge is the guy that I really want, obviously, the best one-off on the slate, as he is pretty much every time he's in the lineup. Let's
say it's Trout's not on the slate, but Trout versus Judge.
Sure, yeah.
Trout,
7 home runs.
Something insane.
He's going for 8 today, yeah. And then what about you, Title? You're going Trout too right now?
I'm riding the heater. I feel like this dude does it like every year. He just has a stretch where he's like that. But I mean, look at Judge's game log. Like, how do you feel comfortable not picking Aaron Judge? So that's a good question to have.
Go throw 2 shit pitchers. Well, you can't. Again, there's no Trout tonight.
Yeah.
But, whew. I mean, those dudes can outscore most starting pitchers. Is the whole thing.
Easily can. It's great. I'm not easily, but
yeah,
they've done it plenty of times.
All right. So New York and Boston. Title?
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Judge, and that's the only thing I have interest. I don't like stacking this. Like the bottom of the order just does not get me excited for the Yankees. I like Cole, so I mean, the Devers call. I mean, he obviously sees them very well. He had those numbers. I'm not a BVP guy, but you can get behind something like that when you see it at a larger sample. But I'm not going to be one-offing a 5.3K guy when I'm anchoring Jacob deGrom. That's why he's going to be 2% owned, though, because no one's going to do it.
All right, guys and girls, thumbs up would be great. Get us a like, help us with the algorithm. We'd appreciate that. What it do to you, bro? Michael Vasquez, when you're asked what it do, bro, I mean, how are you asked back? You go, how does do, bro? Back at you. So hopefully everything's going well with you today. Check out the site, runpuresports.com. We got our Coors. To me, it looks like both of you guys had a good weekend in NFL. I had a great weekend in NFL. We're off to a great start in 2022. For those of you that didn't sign up last week, there's still time to get in for the rest of the season. I got to tell you right now, get in there. Basic plan, just $100 a month. You get the Coors, you get the optimizer, you get these guys, all of our coordinators in the Discord. You hit them up, they just get back to you. And they're in there a lot. What were you guys saying? So there's other sites where you actually have to they just have certain times where the guys are in answering questions. Our guys are answering questions around the clock. So who's the guy stays up in the middle of the night? Is that you, Title? Just hanging out, talking in the chat? K Phallic, maybe just regretting life.
I go to sleep at a good time.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Let's keep going. So like button would be great. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Title, I'm coming right back at you. I mean, is there a Cubs bat? And what about the Mets tonight?
No Cubs bats for me. And as far as the Mets, no. If I'm going to pay up for a stack, it's going to be Toronto today. So can't play everyone on this slate.
Okay. DC?
Yeah, not on the Cubs. I do like the Mets though. I think they're second or third for me against Adrian Sampson. He's not any good. We know that top of the Mets offense can do a lot of damage. Another team that's really expensive if you're going to try to get there. So you might need a guy like Waldichuk in your lineup to try to get to the Mets if you're playing DeGrom, which we obviously recommend. I do prefer, give me the lefties, Lindor, Vogelbach, but of course, Alonso, McNeil in there in the middle of that lineup looked pretty good to me. So I do like the Mets. I think maybe a little more than Title does. I still have them though a decent ways behind the Orioles, who are obviously my number one.
Felt like I absolutely did disparage you. There's no question about that. But I feel like I'm on the right track with that one. Tell me I'm wrong. Next game to get to here on this 11-game slate will be Kansas City and Minnesota. Hey, let's just burn some more money on the Twins. What do you think, DC?
No, I moved on for the most part. I'm still back on them once a week or so. But
would you rather stack the Twins or have one lineup with Nicky Lopez?
I'd rather stack the Twins than play Nicky Lopez.
Yeah. But, Title.
Close call.
There's nothing here, DC.
Twins are going to end up being pretty popular on this slate. I think they have the second highest team total, approaching 5 runs. Chris Bubick is really bad. He's one of the interesting reverse splits guys where he's actually much worse against fellow left-handed bats. He throws from the left side himself. So that does open up some of the value on Minnesota. Luis Arraez leading off is 3,400, and then Nick Gordon, who I've been on, I still think he's better than he's shown, but he's been pretty good. He's 2,900, and Jake Cave down there is 2K flat, starting against a lefty, which that shows you the Twins are obviously looking at the reverse splits for Bubick, because Cave normally only gets starts against right-handed pitching. So that makes me more confident on Jake Cave as well, who I think is one of the better punts on this slate. So I will go to the Twins some, but mostly because the guys that I like are just super cheap and kind of a sneaky good matchup, I think. So mostly sticking to the lefty value on the Twins, not going to go with the full stack.
Okay. What about you, Title?
Well, I was going to pull the Mangone and say, let's see if DC's off of them and Big T's off of them. Then you can jump on them or vice versa. But now these Twins, I mean, I can't go to them. Their fly totals there and they're cheap. So like DC said, they're going to get some ownership. A little chalkier Twins, it never seems to work out.
Oh man!
But the lefty, what DC saying the lefty stuff. I mean, those lefties are going to be the ones that aren't going to be owned in the Twin stack because everyone's going to see lefty. So yeah, Nick Gordon, Cave, Joey Urshela, who's just sitting right there in the 6 hole in between them, or Gary Sanchez, like mini stack down in the bottom half of the order is what makes sense there. The reverse split, so good call there. They'll probably be one of the lowest owned in the stack.
Yep.
K Phallic's butt hurt right now. Bring it on, buddy.
All I see is Kevin Phallic.
Yeah, he's just furious. He's offended that I blamed him for being the night person. It wasn't even a blame. It was like a compliment. Now he's telling me it's Matty Ice.
I didn't think that was a blame.
Yeah, I didn't either. I think he just took it the wrong way. Maybe he was upset about the part where he regrets life, but I think we all have our regrets, Phallic. I didn't
even hear that part.
Yeah, don't see.
Simon might need to put K Phallic in a little timeout. He's blowing up the chat.
You relax, K Phallic. You relax, buddy. We got another game to get to. A lot of games. Milwaukee, St. Louis. So Title, get your thoughts on your Brewers here. We like Jordan Montgomery, so why bother? Anything Milwaukee, St. Louis.
No, I think we see a low scoring game in this one. Matt Bush in a bullpen game against the Cardinals doesn't interest me. From the Cardinal side, and Montgomery. Yeah, these Brewers. No, I mean, if you wanted a one-off like a Hunter Renfroe or something, sure, but this game is not exciting me.
DC, what do you got?
Pretty much with title on this one.
Yeah.
I do like Jordan Montgomery quite a bit. I will have some exposure there, most likely. But yeah, bullpen game for the Brewers. It's a rested bullpen as well. They didn't play yesterday, so they're going to roll out the best guys possible in for each matchup and each inning, which not a good park to hit in either. Of course, you can play a guy like Goldie and Newbar if he's leading off if you want to, but I'm not going to go there myself. Give me Montgomery, and then I'm fading the bats in this game.
Okay, Montgomery, fade the bats. Thumbs up would be very nice. We're doing this for free. We got the best in the business here. Check out runpuresports.com. Monster week 1 in the NFL. Hoop got me on Mahomes and a couple other plays. I'm giving him a shout out here. We got Tony coming off the world championship winner, whatever the hell he just won again. I had another $500,000. And he's bringing it over the NFL streets, the Showdown side too. Of course, JSU, the best up to lock. That's a premium show right there. The up to lock show. We break down the cash show as well. We got DFS and bets. Title, what are you doing here? What are the shows you're doing during the NFL season?
Monday on the rundown show with Spread and Tyler breaking down a recap in the NFL, talking Monday Night Football. Tuesday this morning, Mango and Hoop myself, talking a little first look on the Run Pure Sports channel. And then I'm on the FanDuel cash chart and some Coors on the site, but those are the 2 shows.
Did you play a lot of Mahomes this weekend? AP was asking that. DC, Mahomes, your guy.
Of course, always Mahomes.
Well, then it had to be a good weekend. I mean, it's as simple as that. The guy just went
it was good,
bananas.
Good weekend, absolutely.
Most humble DFS players, Big T? No, that's got to be JJ from the bet side. He is easily the most humble person ever. The guy could win $1 million and be like, no, it was luck. I tried.
That is a good JJ. I mean, I didn't think of that right away talking DFS because he doesn't even make it sound like he plays DFS, but he sure does play DFS.
Oh my God, man. It's just ridiculous.
I'm gonna have to remove my name from the most humble player category.
Oh yeah, sure you are. It doesn't get any more humble. That and JSU's the other one. The guy has he has a wall's worth of 100K hits, and no one ever hears about him. He just does it and he shuts up about it. I wish he'd be a bigger mouth, but whatever. We got more going here. Thumbs up. RunPureSports.com. $100 for the basic plan for the month. Not going to find a better deal. We'll move on to Oakland and Texas. Waldichuk, we like him. DC, do we want to attack Cole Reagans? Maybe a little cheap mini stack or no?
I'm not going to do it on this slate with the Oakland A's. Yeah, you can pick off Chad Pinder. He's 2K hitting cleanup. Their catcher Shea Langoliers is a good hitting prospect. He's 3K hitting cleanup. Peterson third rather. So yeah, there is players to go here for value that you can certainly use against Reagans. But yeah, Sean Murphy has had a good year too. So yeah, I guess. Yeah, I think you can make the case for some of these guys, especially at that weak catcher position. Some of the 2 of the better options are on the Oakland A's, and then obviously I'm very interested in Waldichuk here. That's not to say that he's 6,200 and 5% owned for a reason, right? He's not some lock to do well. So you can look at some of these bats for the Rangers, specifically Marcus Semien looks good, and then you asked me about those young studs coming up. Another one on the Rangers. I'm not necessarily going to use him today, but Josh Jung got hurt very, very early in spring training. They just called him up. He's got big power. Was supposed to be maybe the Rangers, one of their best hitters. So he's a guy to look at if you're not on Waldichuk, and a good guy to keep an eye on going forward to play. But I'm not going to play the Rangers today. I'll have a lot of Waldichuk in my lineups.
All right. Either side here, title.
Yeah, I like the A's. If I'm going to play DeGrom and I like some other spend ups, I think the A's are a very good mini stack, 3-man stack to fill out your lineups. What stood out was Pinder 3-hole, Langoliers in the 4-hole at 3K, Dermy Garcia. If you need a full punt second baseman, Jonah Bride, full punt Noose, second and third base, full punt. I mean, they're looking at it. It's full punt in the final 4 spots. So if you're playing Garrett Cole, Jacob DeGrom, and trying to 5-man stack the Orioles, you just got 6K right there for 3 positions you can fill out, and a lot of bad ones there too. So I like it. Sounds really gross to say the sentence, but yeah, I like the A's as fillers.
Mm-hmm. Little
guaranteed ninth inning at bat. I mean,
we've had a lot of success with the A's mini stacks. We have. It's just no one wants to.
They're free.
Remember the olden days when we liked Meneses and Lane Thomas at the top there, DC? Those were the good old days.
Olden days? That was like 3 days ago.
3 days ago, yeah.
Ongoing,
Well, we're not doing it tonight, though. I'm not doing it tonight. So
I'm with you.
Those were the olden days. Colorado and the White Sox. So both of you are kind of like Kopech, right?
No, I don't like Kopech.
You at all. DC loves them. You don't even like them.
I don't know if DC loves them, but
love is a very
all right. Well, they get to face. First of all, he gets to face the worst team on the road that ever hit in the history of the world. Second of all, on the other side, you've got Chad Kuhl going to the mound. So there's got to be some plays in here, DC.
Yeah, like I said, I do like Kopech a little bit. I don't think I'm going to any Rockies bats at all. Feel pretty confident we'll hold true with that one. And honestly, I'm not playing Chad Kuhl, but I don't really know why the White Sox have such a high team total sitting around 5 in this game. It's not, particularly warm or great wind in Chicago. And I know Kuhl, isn't great by any means, but I don't think he's the worst pitcher in the world either. Obviously out of Coors Field, and he's worse against lefties. Really the only one, I guess I have Moncada and Sheets and Grandal, who hasn't done anything. I mean, I just don't get why the White Sox have such a high team total here. I assume that will lead to some decent level of ownership. That's just pretty much how it works for ownership in MLB. Teams with high team totals will be stacked. I assume White Sox will be. Relatively easy fade, and one that I feel good about with the White Sox. So I'm not going there. Pretty much just maybe some sprinkles of Kopech and then fading the bats in this game.
Title. No, you just shake your head.
I wish the Rockies were the same prices as Oakland, and then I would have the same sentiment as them. But you like Blackman, CJ Cron 5K, Blackman 4.5, Brendan Rodgers 4.7. Like they're priced like they're in Coors Field. So yeah, I mean I don't hate Kopech that much. And then the White Sox, they're the same price as the Orioles, and I definitely like the Orioles a lot more. So yeah, I'm not going to get to this game.
All right, guys, girls. Like button. Let's try and get to 175. We're going to give you the plays of the day no matter what. I'm not holding it back from you. So make sure you do that. And then coordinators are in the Discord right now answering questions. Plus Stevie Boynton put his playbook up. What's the playbook? Playbook is what is that? 6 pitchers that are highlighted that are in play. There's a whole slate plan. He breaks down every single one of these players. Uncle T does playbook. Gary does. A whole bunch of guys do the playbook here. Catching options, just up and down. Every player that would be in the pool tonight. You also, speaking of pools, get DC's player pool. Every player he's playing. Big T, same thing. Mangone has a 3-man strategy there. Cash player. Yeah, we got the player pool. We got the cast chart. We got handedness. We got heat maps and all sorts of stuff, man. It's get over there. runpuresports.com. And let's keep rolling here. Again, big week 1 in the NFL. And we're still grinding out baseball with you too. Title, Dodgers and Arizona. Merrill Kelly, Clayton Kershaw, some good pitchers. Is there a one-off or something here?
Merrill Kelly is just too respectable pitcher to pay these prices for the Dodgers, in my opinion. One-offs. I mean, if I'm playing one-offs, they're going to be like a really cheapie or something more than likely, since I am playing DeGrom in the stacks. So another game, like we said, the early games I like today. So you will know how, if you're following what the stacks I like, you will know how your night's going early. Then you can hit the sheets early, hit the workbench, go to bed, forget you played baseball if you're not, if the stacks aren't going too well. So nothing in this one. DC,
does this sound like a good plan to you? Hit the workbench, go to sleep?
The early workbench and sheets early is always a good way to go. I can't argue with that. I'm with Title though. Yeah, I'm not playing D-backs against Clayton Kershaw here. Even Kershaw himself, I don't love this matchup for him. A lot of low strikeout rates swinging from the right side from the D-backs. Of course, you can play the Dodgers. You're doing it on the strength of their lineup, not the matchup here. So they're not going to make my list or really my lineups. Maybe like a Joey Gallo or Cody Bellinger down at the bottom of the lineup trying to get the home run, but I just can't, pay these crazy prices. If you go to DraftKings, 6.2 for Betts, 5.6 for Trey Turner, 5.7 for Freeman, 5.4 for Smith, 5K for Muncy. I mean, just can't get there when you're trying to play Jacob deGrom. Doesn't seem worth it to me. So yeah, fading this game almost entirely, I think.
Okay. We are running down here out of games. We got 2 more to go. We got Darvish and Gilbert. DC, any reason to attack either one of these pitchers this evening?
Not really. Gilbert's been awesome these last 2 starts, made a change. We talked about it before his last start on the show, ditched his curveball for more sliders and had another really, really strong outing, which I wish Gilbert had a better matchup. I would be in on him here, but tough strikeout matchup, especially when you're considering the slate. I do think Gilbert's an okay play. Again, I'm not going to use him. Hitting wise, you can always play Juan Soto. He does have a cheap price point here of 4.9, and Gilbert does attack and gives up some home runs. So I think he's okay. On the Mariners, maybe you could look at a Julio Rodriguez. You can look at him against anybody. You can also steal against Yu Darvish, which is obviously a big part of Julio's game. So you can make a case for him at really low ownership. And then I do like Cal Raleigh anytime he's hitting from the left side. Big power, and Darvish does give up his fair share of home runs. So yeah, Cal Raleigh, I think he leads all catchers in home runs on the year. 24 home runs for him, kind of a quiet big season. So he's a guy I'm always willing to play, especially against a lefty and at low ownership, or against a righty rather, when he's swinging from the left side at low ownership. Darvish certainly applies to that. So a couple plays from the Mariners, but yeah, another game, just not a good hitting environment in Seattle. 2 good pitchers. I don't see a huge reason to load up on this one.
Title nodding his head right now. So you got a little Cal Raleigh or maybe a little mini stack here?
I don't mind him. And the one guy I was going to say as well, so it does fit in with the mini stack. AP's watching in chat. The guy's min price. I would be ashamed not to say it. Sam Haggerty, AP's boy. Like if I'm one-offing someone, I want him to be 2K. This guy's 2K, treats AP well all the time. Cal Raleigh, wow, it was out of my head. Cal Raleigh is what DC said. Sam Haggerty, you get a little 6-8 mini stack that'll be combined 1.5% owned. Cheap. So yeah, that's Sam Haggerty, have to say it for AP though.
I like the Haggerty call. He can steal bases too against Darvish. That's another plus.
All right, let's wrap this thing up here with our last game. Then we'll get to the plays of the day. Also want to talk a little bit about FanDuel for a sec, but Braves and Giants. This is just the part that we don't love to attack offensively, but Jake Junis does give up some home runs. And the Braves are rolling out their A+ lineup, what I'm looking at right now. And you can always find a little bit of value with them. Title, the ballpark's going to probably scare most of us off here, but can you make a case for Atlanta?
Yeah, the lineup came out 2 minutes ago. Michael Harris is in it, so he'd be the one that I have interest in. Michael Harris, dude just gets the job done, but it's not a team I'm going to be full stacking. You have to spend money for them, and if I'm spending money, it'd be Toronto, the Orioles. You just can't do it at all. But Michael Harris for sure. The dude is a stud.
All right, what about you, DC?
Yeah, Harris a good one-off always. So he's in play. I do prefer lefties against Junis in general. Maybe you throw in a Matt Olson, Robbie Grossman, another guy that's been priced that you can go to. But in this part, maybe you can play a one-off, but I don't really want to play like 2 or 3 Braves. Maybe you can go to a full stack here, right? They do have a pretty high team total for a team in San Francisco. Junis really hasn't been very good lately. Could maybe make a case for a super contrarian team stack. Other than that, yeah, I like the Harris one-off, maybe the Robbie Grossman one-off. And no Giants for me against Kyle Wright. I know he had a bad last start, but that's, I think, only his second really bad start of the entire year. Has been really, really consistent. Other than that, unlikely to get blown up 2 starts in a row. And I do like Kyle Wright a little bit. So yeah, no Giants hitters for me.
Okay. We got a couple FanDuel thoughts here. Title, what are you doing to pitcher tonight? And then just on FanDuel and any offenses that stand out.
Well, Jacob deGrom's on the slate, so I really do want to get I really do want to get him. And then what makes it easy, like the Orioles, you look at their pricing. Cedric Mullins, 3K, Adley, 3.1, Santander, 2.9. Everyone besides Adley and Cedric Mullins are below 3K. So yes, it is hard to get DeGrom at 12K, but the bats are very cheap, which makes it a lot easier. So they stand out. Again, the Toronto game is not on that slate. You look at like the Rockies, though. I'm not probably going to go to them as much, but they're a lot cheaper on FanDuel than they are on DK as well. So that usually is what are the A's very cheap on FanDuel as well. So prioritize DeGrom. The O's are cheap, and then you can fill out the rest, and you'll have salary.
Yeah, no Vaughn Grissom, right? I'm looking over at the chat was just saying that no Vaughn Grissom tonight. We'll be okay. We can build it. DC, what do you want to do? Were you going Cole
on FanDuel? No, I got two lineups. One is DeGrom. The other is Waldichuk, as people might guess. Part of the reason is I like him, but part of the reason is I'm just trying to get as far away salary wise from DeGrom if I'm not using him, so that I can have a different lineup than what people that are using DeGrom would use. So you have, a couple outs, right? Maybe DeGrom has a somewhat disappointing outing and Waldichuk delivers. You can win that way. Or guys like Aaron Judge hit 2 home runs and nobody that has DeGrom can have him. So you do have a chance, even if DeGrom performs like we expect him to, and puts up a monster FanDuel score. So yeah, those are my two guys on FanDuel. Doesn't make sense for me to play guys like Cole and Darvish and right there. They're just too close to Jacob DeGrom and too far behind him, in my opinion, in terms of what I expect from their output.
All right, I'm going to remind everybody again for the last time, they'll get the plays of the day here. Everybody, runpuresports.com, $100 basic plan. You're going to get all of our sports. You'll get NFL, again, killed it week 1. You'll get NFL. You'll get baseball. MLB still going on. What else? MMA. The MMA street's been good to you boys. Title?
The last 2-3 weeks have not been good to me over here.
All right. Listen, we're transparent. We'll at least let you know that. DC, how's it going with you in MMA?
No, I tweeted about it. I made my girl drive me to the bar after my NFL show on Saturday night, and then proceeded to get. It was going good up until the pay-per-view card, and I got 4 out of the 5 fights wrong on the.
If Tony won, it would have been good, and he lost. That was the worst fight I've ever seen.
All right. Let's move on. I'm trying to sell the site here. Yeah. You guys you're in a cooler.
You asked the question.
I'll always tell the truth. That's
what I'm saying. You got to be transparent. All right, so at least our NFL and our baseball have been rolling. The MMA, the boys will pick it up. Just be patient.
It's not about how often you win. It's about when you win, how much do you win.
It's quantity. It's quality over quantity, I think. Quality over quantity sometimes. Anyways, plays of the daytime. That's what we're going to do. Hit the like button if you'd like. Phallic, did you calm down yet? Or are you still like flipping out in the chat? If you want to throw your play of the day in here, that'd be nice too. DC, Mom's Basement. Play of the day.
Yeah, I'll give 2 again. Waldichuk's gotta make it. I think he's my most important player. Once you consider what we think his ownership is going to be, I'm going to need him to have a good game, most likely to get to the winner's circle. And then I got to go to the Orioles. A lot of good choices on the Orioles, but I will go with Adley Rutschman, who's really, really turned it on. Second half of the year, he swings better from the left side of the plate, which is perfect for this matchup against Corey Abbott. Yeah, Adley Rutschman, Mom's Basement play of the day.
All right. SO play of the day is next from Titletown. What's the SO play title?
I was hoping DC wasn't going to take him. He talked him up a little bit, though. Kyle Stowers, min price. Yeah. I love the Orioles. Playing DeGrom gets you more salary. Kyle Stowers, the SO play of the day.
Yeah, I'm just going to Dean Kramer. I mean, I might not know which white guy he is in the Orioles, but that's the guy that I plugged in right behind DeGrom, and then hearing you guys say, yeah, it's a pretty damn good play. I'm sticking with Kramer. I think he's got a top 4 score tonight.
Who do you think's better? If him and Watkins, if you had to pick as a real life pitcher.
Kramer. Didn't DC? Watkins get a little bit more fan for, but Kramer's my guy.
The coin flip question, he got it right. He landed.
It's not true. I unfortunately have watched a lot of Orioles because over the last 3 years, I have bet more Orioles games than any other goddamn team. It is amazing.
Well, this year too, or just when Camden was the fun
just
Camden?
All the time. No, even this year, man. And it always seems like it's the Rays Orioles games where I'm most invested, and I can't stand it. I don't even like watching them. It's not fun. Anyways. Spencer Watkins, what I said, right, DC? Spencer Watkins.
You said Kramer, which was
I was doing the coin flip. Yeah. So anyways, check it out. Run Pure Sports. Hit the like button on the way out. Really appreciate everybody stopping by. Remember, we'll have NFL content. It started today, right? You did your show today, Title, right?
Yep, correct.
Yep, and then we're about to ramp it up. Let me just look at the schedule real quick. What do we got coming up tomorrow? Our tournament first look with Locks, AP, and Crane. We've got the MLB Final Countdown, me, Hoop, and DC. And then at noon my time, so 2:00 Eastern time, it's Mangone, spread from the bet side, and myself picking winners. We'll talk about 6 NFL games from the DFS side and try and correlate it with the bet side. And that's coming up at 2:00 tomorrow. For DC and title, I'm Holden. Simon, get us out of here.